everyone, you're very welcome to this week's episode of Parleo Pod, the podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe for free, and click the notifications bell so you don't miss any future videos and updates. Just like to wish all of my subscribers and viewers a very happy 2022. This week, I'm delighted to be joined again by Silvio Berlusconi's best buddy, Mark Radley. He's come back on the channel just to have a chat about Liverpool's season at the moment, recent games against Leicester and Chelsea, and prediction for the rest of the season. And I suppose just to give a bit of analysis on a reaction to the first episode of Anne last night, which is a story which is very close to Mark's heart as well, with Hillsborough and that. So Mark, thanks a million for coming back on the channel. It's really appreciated. How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad. But, thank you for having me back on, and happy New Year to you and all the best, pal.
Yeah. Cheers. We'll start it off. Cheers and good health, I suppose. All the best for 22.
And you, all the best, mate. And to all the viewers as well, all the best to everybody.
Did Berlusconi give you a Christmas card this year?
I don't know why, but I don't seem to be very high on his Christmas card list. I'm quite disappointed about that, to be honest, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get in touch with you before the match of the San Siro next month anyway, with a couple of complimentary tickets. So
that'd be a nice gesture if he would.
Yeah, you have a good catch up there in the VIP area, you know. Get in contact with the San Siro from his time at AC Milan.
I'm not. I don't find a way in.
So I suppose, just recapping over the last week for Liverpool, it's kind of been a week where the title has gone from a very distinct possibility to now being very much an outside chance, and dropping points at Spurs. We had injuries that day as well, and obviously one of the worst refereeing decisions I think we've both ever seen. VAR at Tottenham. Leeds game was postponed, which gave Man City another chance to move 3 points clear further, even though we have a game in hand. With the Leicester game, I think for me anyway, was beginning of the end. Would you agree?
Yeah, well, it definitely feels that way. It's a shame because, you know, my opinion, and I think by most, but also when you hear him building up to the Christmas period, you know, we all know he doesn't like the games coming thick and fast. You know, how they are, it's congestion of it, and only having a couple of days break between each game. But well, that's the case. You know, I thought the Leeds game would have been a blessing in disguise, not playing on Boxing Day, and give us an advantage that maybe we have some rest, especially after doing the Carabao Cup. Congestion again coming up with Arsenal. You know, and again an unnecessary evil. I thought Luke Klopp very proud of the comeback in that quarter final. Before that, I think he was, you know, he'd have happily come out of that cup. Not a pride, probably at least priorities we all probably agree with, but right. But we did, and it's nice to be involved. We seem to do what we always do. We seem to be playing better when we've got momentum, when we're playing games so close together. As soon as we get a bit of a break or an unexpected break, something seems to fall off. And whether we had too much Christmas turkey because we weren't playing on Boxing Day, whatever it was, the Leicester game just, you know, it's all the similar sort of, and the way we played the game seemed to be very similar to the West Ham game. The last time we got beaten, it just seemed to be playing in second gear. You know, it was, when we're on the front foot, we're penetrating, going with a lot of pace, and aggressively attacking teams. No one can stop us. We seem to be going at that way. We're just lackadaisy. We're attacking them. We've got the possession, but we're not doing it at any sort of pace. And I don't think that helps us in those sorts of games, whether that what coaches, tactical, whatever it might be, but we weren't going at it before goal. Because all the things happen then, whether it be a foul, boxing gets brought down, you're playing at pace, lots of other opportunities to play, but you're just giving them. You know, I just honestly think that the game's coming thick and fast. But players not being available with COVID and different things, I just thought it would have worked to our advantage of that break with the other game, both the Arsenal game. So that not happening, I thought that, sorry, with that happening, I thought that would have been the case, but it didn't seem to go against us because we were on a bit of a momentum there, I thought. And then we've gone into the Leicester game, especially the thing with the Leicester game as well, we've gone and beat them the week before. Obviously, we're back in that game in the cup, and obviously they've got a bit more grit between the teeth at one source of revenge, but they've got the same 11 more or less starting the game. We've been able to bring our comes back in, and we seem to play worse than what we did the week before when we've got some of the youngsters playing.
Yeah.
So, the Leicester game is so frustrating in that respect. In reality, it was more important than the one in the cup game, and Klopp would have probably round and would have rather had 3 points to go off the Carabao Cup if he was honest. But the way it worked out, obviously we're in a semi-final, which will be nice to be in any cup semi-final and potentially go into a final. But it's a congestion of games, of two other games now, a semi-final, because it's 2 legs with Arsenal that we could without at this stage of the season when the game's already thick and fast in December and January, and then with Mo and Mane and African Cup of Nations as well, it's not a if you want to minimise the amount of games you're playing when you know what your best players available. They've obviously flown off this morning and late last night off for the African Cup of Nations, and I really can't see without certain key players how we're going to get this month without maybe falling short even more so, and that's the worry.
Yeah. I think the Leicester game as well is one of those kind of freak matches as well. Like Leicester scored with their one shot on target. It reminded me of the FA Cup final last year when they beat Chelsea, but we kind of lacked the cutting edge all through the match, really. There was no real penetration. They had, Schmeichel made a couple of brilliant saves, the penalty save from Salah, and he made a great save as well from point blank.
Man of the match, definitely, yeah.
But it just seems
for me,
you have to write those games off sometimes, But
sometimes you do. Listen, it's a long season, and other teams are going to play thick and fast as well. I honestly thought Chelsea at the start of this season that they were going to be our bigger. Not signing a striker. Yes, it was a great team and a great squad. But you don't play with a striker. Don't get me wrong. They do it in a different way, but I still believe that when you lose on Aguero, people like somebody to bag and goals up there and lead the attack. So I honestly felt Chelsea would be our bigger threat this season. And obviously pedigree, it's proven that obviously that they are still up there. And Chelsea have obviously got problems with COVID things that many people seem to have. And that is the only thing I would say. A friend last night on the phone, and he says the meeting says, listen, is this month comes thick and fast with games and the squad they're meeting up against other things and all this other stuff. At some point, City could be hit with COVID as well, where they're not being affected by it at the moment. So I don't wish anybody to be ill or to certainly have COVID. But the season's not over, and we need to be still confident in the heels, certainly in case they do have a form at some point. But that confident in their heels, we need to still be there thereabouts at the end of January. I don't know if we've definitely got a squad now where we've only had a team before. But when you go and lose players like we are going to do with the African Cup, I think we knew this was going to happen this year. I still very strongly believe we didn't make right judgments in the transfer market in the summer to have these already key cut. I'm not going to say you can bring somebody in to cover for no salary to his ability, but certainly have still have backup and certainly have bodies. We didn't, the same in the summer, we didn't play Gini, in my opinion. I think we needed the key midfielder and we needed the key striker to, and in case of any major injuries, and the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah. So just moving on to the match yesterday, everything went swimmingly in that first half an hour, 40 minutes. It was almost went too well, and then bang, it just capitulated.
It's like watching two different sides sometimes. Whatever, 30-35 minutes of dominant possession, over 60%, 60% possession. Really was like men and boys. That sort of play. And I felt that would happen. We raise our game. We always do against Chelsea. We always do against City. And I thought it'd be a different game than what it was against Leicester, etc. But wonder goal gives them a lift. And if Alisson was in goal, it would have been goal would still got in. Doesn't matter who was in. So I think time he comes in, he's done it more than enough to show he's a great young goalkeeper. So no blame for him to go for here. I think watching it back as I did again last night and again this morning, there's issues obviously with James Milner and different things around the midfield, the things before it even gets to that. So, but a great goal by all his. Both of their goals were good goals. And obviously they got the grip. Worst time, right before half time, to keep the two. And that's where you need a Jurgen Klopp. We seem to sometimes have a game of two halves, and sometimes if we're not doing very well in the first half, which we did until that moment. He seems to be very, very good at what he does tactically and the way he approaches, the way he speaks. And players have spoken a lot of times about the way he motivates people at half time. So that's a big miss for him not to have been there last night. May not wear a pair of boots, but what he gives us as a manager in them sorts of situations. Lingers is a great coach, and he seems to take over the mantle when it's needed, but he's no Jurgen Klopp. And we all love him, and I think that's where we haven't had a bit of luck this season. That made it happen, or VAR. We got a hell of a lot in previous seasons. So hopefully that will change moving forward.
Yeah, I just think the goals coming as it is, it was a hammer blow, two of them coming in the space of 3-4 minutes. I said there were two brilliant finishes. The first goal reminded me of something Zola would score in his day for Chelsea. It was a fantastic finish. So it's the positives. Salah and Mane's goals were superb. We really performed outstanding in that first 40 minutes. But in the second half, if any team was going to win it, it was Chelsea. I think that we kind of put it.
You're right. But in the first half, before that two goals, we were playing like we were home track. It wasn't just all counter-attack football. We were playing like we were the whole side, and they were playing more of the counter-attack football. But then they've got quality players that they've got that are going to punish. We just need to. I just think that sometimes we're having moments still, but we're not on the longer periods where, and when also 2-0 up is a massive. 2-0 was great, don't get me wrong, but till you get that third one, it's always they only need one more. Then you know they can get them probably because then they can get an equaliser, then it can happen there. So unless you're going to start getting to 3, you need to not be taking your foot off the pedal. That's where then teams can sometimes go 3-0 up. Also psychologically they can go, and then you sometimes it can be a role in scoring goals. And you've got a Chelsea with players doing what they can do. You can't just take your foot off. You can't make stupid mistakes. They're going to punish you. But there's the signs of some good things. We're not out of it yet. I'm a confident person to know that I don't think that it's all over. There'll be another twist or turn, but I certainly think that this people go leagues aren't won in January. We all know that, but January has a massive telling on what's going on with the African competition. I will keep saying it. That's a massive loss for us this January. We need to bring some players in, but then how bringing them in January when you need them in January is too late. The players aren't going to get used to it, get used to everybody, settle in, all the things that you've got. The reality is we needed them in January. We needed them in the summer.
Yeah, and I think that's the kernel of the situation. The Liverpool fans sing, and they were singing at the start of the season, we've got no money, but the Reds will still win the league. Investment should have been made in the summer. Kanate was the only signing. The midfield desperately needed strengthening, and not replacing Wijnaldum was a massive blunder. Hindsight is 2020, I know, but Chelsea and City both strengthened. We haven't. We more or less stood still. And our squad was thin enough as it was without not adding to it, So the seeds were sown in the summer transfer window for this.
Some of the positives of listen, we're still in the Champions League. We dominate one this year. I don't think we need to give up. I think in one-off game, in the squad we've got, when players are back in Africa, we've got probably more chance of winning the 7th Champions League. We've got to win the Premier League. Certainly with the already the teams that have already got out in that competition. So to be in that, still got a semi-final now in the Carabao Cup, which we weren't expecting. Okay, it's not a glamorous trophy, but we'll take that. And sometimes you get an early cup in, which I've seen when we've won it in the past, or when City have done things, gives that players a bit of taste of success and go and get a final maybe in a March or whatever, and then that could give you some belief going, and also give some of the young players who were about for the squad when we won 2 seasons ago, but we're not necessarily involved. Where some of these could be more involved and give them a bit of.
Yeah, I suppose a very important question to be asked is now: do we prioritise the Arsenal League Cup semi-finals now as a way of getting a trophy?
I think, you've got to say to yourself, you're 2 games away from being in a final. And any final is a great experience. To be at Wembley, so you will. It'll all depend with things over anyway. Who's going to be available? Who I don't think it's going to be that we're going to have a luxury that we'll have some decisions forced upon us. We've got a cracking number 2 goalkeeper anyway that I think is good. Thick on us from Robbo seamlessly doesn't seem to be would get in most first teams. Never mind Andy Robinson. So we have got a good players. We've got some good youngsters. Got some freakish things this season as well. With what's gone on with Curtis Jones, that's a long time out with that eye injury and stuff like that. So he seems to obviously be on the bench last night and there is some positives. I'd like us, like any club, once gets to the final. What I don't want to do is it adds to our congestion of games, potentially 3 or 4 more games there, travelling 3 games a game, and we go and win a Carabao Cup. We beat Arsenal over 2 legs, and then we go and throw another 3 points away, or it affects us when we go to the San Siro because the game's building. So these are the problems that will happen if we're not careful. So this is why we're not football managers and Jurgen Klopp is, because it's not easy making those decisions. But I think some of the decisions will be forced upon him and make the decisions themselves.
One positive that came out of the game yesterday, though, I think, was Queeveen Kelleher's performance, and it was great. As I've lived in Cork for the last 15 years, to see a Cork man perform so well and go over Liverpool, it was great. And he really has put in a serious performance every time he's worn the Liverpool jersey, to be fair to him, over the last couple of years, hasn't he?
100%. He's positive in his approach. He's strong. He's a good shot. He's ready to take his chance when it comes. Nothing seems to faze him. Doesn't seem to sort of in anything else.
I'm surprised that other clubs haven't been looking to sign him as their own goalkeepers, as their own first choice. But he seems to be content enough at Anfield. So I'm quite happy having him as a backup goalkeeper to Alisson. Yeah,
me too. I think he'll realize he should realize what a best place to be at the moment to learn your trade and to learn from the best. Some of them want to be there already. Listen, that won't last forever. He's not starting 11 in another 12 or 2 years, and he's still proving himself there. Then someone else will probably snap him up, but his value will be going up as well all the time. So it's nice to keep him. Listen, it's not like any other position on the park, is it? Where you can sometimes you've got more opportunities to play, and sometimes you can even cover in other positions if you can play versatility and play anywhere across the midfield or the back 4 or to strike and roll. A goalkeeper, unfortunately, rely on one player to be either injured or very unlikely to have a bad run of form with Alisson. So it's either injury or COVID or something else. So that's just the nature of the beast with that position, unfortunately.
Yeah. One concern of this season, I think Jamie Carragher was saying yesterday in the analysis, we've dropped 18 points this season, and 10 of them have been from winning positions, which is more than half. I think that's a serious, twice we've blown a 2-goal lead against Brighton, and yesterday against Chelsea. We were leading twice against Man City at Anfield in the 2-2 draw. I just think our inability to close games out has really cost us, because that's an extra 10 points we should have really over the season.
You're right. And sometimes I don't love Klopp. Sometimes, not saying you're 2-0 up, because we seem to win games sometimes in the first 20 minutes, half hour, and first half sometimes in games. You can't expect to close the bus for the next 45, 50 minutes. It's too long in a game. I also, although back up when we did have managers to do that tactically, it'd be better have that rub of the green and be able to do that when it's needed and be able to and not always go for where they can support. That's just not how football we're in. Also, we're not in them areas anymore either, where, to be fair, when you're playing teams, this Premier League now, anyone can beat them. Wonder goals from all different sources. Anyone on the day can beat anybody, and that's the only thing I'm confident moving forward to the rest of the season. The City will get beat. City will get beat again. They will maybe get a couple of times, and it'll be against a team you probably expect they'll have an off day. They'll have a day where they will do what we've done against Leicester. They will turn up psychologically thinking that they're turn up and wait that team, and it could be a Crystal Palace or somebody else, and it will happen. Because these teams today are not. They're no pushovers. Some of these lower division teams, very lower position teams in the league. On the day, anyone can beat anyone, unless it's Everton, of course, and they seem to obviously doing a great job for us, you know.
Draws were a big factor in the length of time it took to win us the Premier League title. There was 2 seasons in particular, 2008, 2009 under Rafa, and 2018-19 with Klopp, where we only lost 3 games in total between those 2 seasons. But the draws killed us. They were the difference between, and like, we're going to lose. I could quite happily take a defeat to Leicester, but it's the matches like yesterday, games you're winning comfortably and then drop 2 points. That's, you know,
it'd be better to lose 2 games than draw them 3. You know, it's just sometimes you don't want to have a winning mentality and not getting a defeat, but I've had too many draws. You're right. Also, so we've up until last week, we're averaging 3 goals per game, and our statistics are not compared to Chelsea are positive. So compared to their team or whatever it was I was reading yesterday, so there's, you know, it's we just need. Sometimes we need to win ugly. You know, 2-0, you know, I'd take a 1-0. Trent's great quality player, very gifted fullback, modern day fullback, as we all know. But he's got to do his defensive duties better, and he's got to on a gut, which I don't think last night's game and the Leicester game. You watch it back, and after they've gone on the counter attack to concede that goal, he can call ball watching. And by the time he's all been lost, you know, the player's off. I think he's looking like he's running towards behind the player. Make it look like he's running, but he actually doesn't look like. I could be wrong, but the way it looks on the images on the camera, it doesn't look like he busted the gut enough back. And then as soon as you get to your own box, you can't go any. You're afraid, and other players are afraid to obviously, you know, you can't touch the man now by going down or without being a penalty. So you've got to be doing it before it gets to 18-yard box. You know, you need to be defending before it gets to your 18-yard box. So you've got to not get caught watching.
At this stage, you still reckon we have a chance of winning the league, all things considered?
Listen, I'm always an optimist when it comes to I'll never write this off. It's not over. Istanbul proved that, and that was only season. No titles are won in January. Not ideal. I would have liked us to listen. If we'd got the 3 points against Leicester, and then we've gone into last night's game, we've got a draw. I mean, Stamford Bridge, it's not a bad result really against Chelsea. No. The fact you get 4 points out of the 6 wouldn't have been bad. Getting beat to Leicester is what done us, and even that's no embarrassment. 12 months ago, they've been a team that's been pushing. Just this season, they're not where they need to be at. We just gotta this month. I know I keep coming back to this month, where we're at with squad, with players. God forbid, only like Mo and I come back healthy from the African nations and have to get because I miss them, but also we don't want them playing tournament football. Have it as well, you know. You're playing a tournament in the middle of the season. You're playing games thick and fast. You charge those players their own international countries are. It's going to be a difficult month, and I don't expect this year. Obviously, I think they're obviously looking stronger, but they are going to have a period. I think they're going to have a period where they're going to have a couple of games not expecting they need to be there ready to pounce when that happens.
Yeah. My concern is that City will drop points. I've no doubt about that. But my concern is that are we able to capitalise on them, because we haven't really done that so far this season at times, like, you know. But as a friend of mine there's a friend of mine who's concerned that we'll finish in the top four. But I don't feel that fear at all. I can't see us losing 6 games in a row at home again like we did last year. I think there's a different animal, especially with crowds back this season at Anfield.
Listen, Anfield aren't going to let us get beat like we did last year against Everton. That wouldn't have happened if the crowd had been there. It just didn't happen. Anfield will get us through those sorts of games. Will also give us confidence in other games in these, for example, second leg at Arsenal, for Arsenal and Champions League games. So they'll then give you other games. And players will, in those league games of that week, will want to play in a semi-final or will want to play then at the San Siro. We playing at San Siro last time, obviously the team to play there. And last time playing AC Milan, I watch a lot of LFC TV, and you're watching players talking like Oxlade-Chamberlain and people like that. You know, these players, they want experiences like that. They want to be playing football. They want to go to San Siro. They're not. It's not just about getting to the final and win the trophy. Some of them want to be able to say certain games, certain stadiums, and playing certain games. So to do that, you need to be playing week in, week out, or playing regularly, or playing a great week before in a normal cup game. So that's the sort of motivational things that Klopp needs to be saying to them. Listen, I haven't made any decisions on my side for next week's game and the such. You know, players need to be playing well week in, week out. I think that I'm not going to write us off. I think it's going to be tough. It'll be hard. I can see us winning some silverware this year. I really do. I can't see that we win that, whether it be a Champions League or a Carabao Cup or whatever. If we did that and we still only finished second, so it'd be a good season. But I think with the way we started, the way things were excited, then we back to where we were 18 months ago before when COVID had hit. We didn't have the players in the ground. But yes, and it makes it an interesting season, doesn't it? We don't want to be disappointed with results, but it makes it being a neutral watching that game last night. For us, it's not, but for a neutral, what a game of football, what an advertisement for the Premier League. So it must have been great for a neutral. I mean, but for ourselves, yeah, we're disappointed today.
Yeah, it was good for Man City as well, like the perfect result for the transfer window. Mark, do you see us getting anyone in January?
I think it's a must. I think the only problem is there's all these rumours that we've had over the last couple of years with certain players that don't look, with the money that we haven't got, unless they've been doing what they've been rumoured the last couple of years that we've been waiting this next transfer would be the January or the summer to make a big signing, and that's why they haven't. We put all ready to do that. Getting someone like Mbappe, who's obviously available for nothing now because he hasn't committed to PSG, but I think it's nailed on. He's going to go to Real Madrid. That's his boy club that he supported. The boy, although he is Parisian, that's who he wants to be. Is he at an age where he wants to still learn his trade, play with people like Mo Salah, play for someone like Klopp, and then could still go to Real Madrid? Doing everything I would do because he's long enough to for 4 years. We'd make an absolute billion of profit by still selling him when he's going into his peak years, going into a 26, 27, 28-year-old player. So, and that's what we should be doing as a football club, getting players who are young enough but proven, whether it's him, Hallard, or whatever it might be, proven. Also putting pressure on our players that we've now had to do well. So we need another striker anyway. I hate to say this, but I think everyone will agree with me that we've had the best of Bobby. What a servant for us. Don't you have to look at him? He looks aged to me when you look at physically the year before and stuff like that. I hate to say it. We as a football club and as fans sometimes get very romantic.
Sentimental, like.
Too romantic in the sense that because they're a legend and what we've done, we feel we owe them something to give them a longer career. Whereas Alex Ferguson, when he's had Japs Cannon at the best and we let him go, we could still get a decent amount of money for someone like a Bobby. I don't. He's a nice character, but I think we've had the best out of him, and I think that's why I think Jota was covered for Bobby, and now he's proven that he's actually probably ahead of him in the pecking order right now. Jota is about for Bobby and Bobby. Bobby will still come on and have moments of brilliance. You can't knock when you're the quality that he's got. But playing at the pace that we play at his thing, I just don't think he's the player he was. So I think there's an opportunity there for somebody.
I get rid of Origi as well. I know he got a good goal at Wolves to win the match, and and
I think that his stock will be higher because of that again. And obviously, Klopp saying the right thing. And Origi's going to always have legendary status at the football club for the goals against Everton, Barcelona, and he scored some big Liverpool football club. But I don't think he's although he scored that big goal last week before last. I don't see him as a super sub that you will get away with not playing him all the time and comes on and he'll do it. He'll still might do that in one big game, but do not 5-6 games before that when you play him. You need a player that's going to be sitting there on the bench. Someone is injured or someone is out or got to go to an African Cup of Nations. He needs to be able to hit the ground running. Yeah. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's going to score us 15, 20 goals a season. He may not score 30 like a Mo Salah, but he still needs to be banging in half the amount. And that's not going to happen with a Divock Origi. You'd be better having, in my opinion, Klopp had better working players that makes them improves them. There's enough in somebody like a Jimmy Traore from Wolves, who potential dipped in form a bit over the last 18 months. I think, but beast of a player when we played against him. I think Klopp likes him. Klopp the best out of him, and I think he would raise his game week in, week out. He ain't going to score you loads and loads of goals, but what he will do is he'll create other goals as well. So if we can't go and get a proven goal scorer, we need to get an attacking player that will make other goals for other players. And like in a pace and his physical presence.
I think our best chance this season is probably, as you said, Champions League, number 7 in Russia. You mentioned the AC Milan Liverpool match at the San Siro. I remember messaging you on that day. You were flying back from holidays at the time. I remember it's obviously a fixture that's very important to you, AC Milan versus Liverpool. We had a separate episode on that, which I'll include the link on. I suppose if anyone hasn't seen the episode, just to refresh the story, that Mark managed to black his way into the VIP area at the 2005 Champions League final in Istanbul and ended up sitting beside Berlusconi and for Liverpool's 3 comeback goals, and was removed from the Milan VIP area down to the Liverpool VIP area for the second half, the rest of the second half, and the penalty shootout. So it was a brilliant story that was made into a play and a book, beating Berlusconi. And that story might be retold around Ireland in the coming year with the help of God as well. So we'll keep you posted on that, and you might even see me there as well. Just before I finish up there, Mark, I just wanted to touch on episode 1 last night of Anne, which is on ITV. It's a 4-part series. It's on every night until Wednesday, telling the story of Anne Williams' role in the Hillsborough inquest. That's a story that's very close to your own heart, as you lost a couple of cousins at Hillsborough. What did you make of the show last night? What was your thoughts on it?
Listen, for me personally, and for many people, it's very emotional. Anything to do with that is emotional. I certainly shed a tear last night and found it difficult as a new. These TV dramas are now very, 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 very good, and I'm enjoying sometimes TV dramas now more than what. The powerful. I'm hoping the side of it, the truth side of it, because there's still so much ignorance out there. Anything in prime time television at that time of night, 4 nights, on ITV, was to be able to message people that don't realise the truth that we all know. Listen, we know that more people now know the truth. We've had the truth. Justice is important now, but piece of TV drama, you can't not. On a personal level, for me, it's just bringing back all those emotions of everything. But having met Anne as well, it's an amazing woman, absolute amazing woman. The true, in my opinion, of in the right way, goes to the other Iron Lady and Margaret Thatcher, the true Iron Lady in the sense of her strength and resilience. Never give up, fight for Kevin and for the 96, and of many, the 96, now 97, sadly. The heroes are as important of the survivors are the heroes as much as the lives that are lost that day. What I hope that the rest of the other 3-part episodes that everyone will get to see who didn't necessarily know Anne personally or anything. They know the fight of all the families, but what I'm hoping this will give is how much of an amazing woman that woman was. And unfortunately, was taken too soon to not necessarily get all the information and answers at the right time to all happen. So, request and a fight. So made that those things happen. She was an unbelievable woman to have done what she's done, and I hope that'll come across over the next three because sad as it is, it's a important point of our history. Liverpool fans' history of this country, and it needs to be portrayed in the right way. People, ignorant people, and other people, and new generations who just not necessarily ignorant, they weren't around, they're not old enough to know. Let it be told. Let's the true story be told. We're not just reading things in the past. So the more of these sorts of things are exposed, then better. I raised my cup again, like I did Simone first half, but I raised my cup and my glass to Anne and all the families and all the survivors. It's never easy, but then
you spent a bit of time with Anne not long before she died. Is that right?
And a couple of times at different events to do with the campaign, and message through messages and Twitter mainly. When we were in contact quite a bit, and always offered my time and my support. And she was always generous with her time to sort of be there to support us. But it was the last few weeks really before she went. I knew that it would get well. She went over to the hospital and took some flowers over and things, and that was just so sad, just to see the strength of a woman, just this. And it's just so sad.
Yeah.
Not necessarily lose a fight for lively. She's for another fight. Consuming the fight needs to be fought, and a fight is understandably when you've lost somebody, that's what you're going to do. But what I don't think anybody, unless you're attached to the family, is realising how much that consumes you the moment you wake up and you die every day. Your life has actually, you've not done holidays, you've not done other, you've put everything on because your whole life has been consumed by the love. Remember that these are things that you can sympathise, you can have empathy, and you've been there. That you realise that a wonderful person who touched so many people, life had been consumed, and survivors, the people, Hillsborough, but also the survivors are the families that have had to live that every day. And that's where the empathy and sadness comes, anger comes from, this comes from, and it's difficult to have those conversations legally and everything else, what we have to can and can't say. But there's blood on both hands, in my opinion, and that's just
it's no harm for other football fans, I suppose, that have a warped opinion of what happened that day, Hillsborough, or sing songs about Hillsborough or whatever. It's no harm for them, I suppose, just getting insight into what really went on that day and the real truth.
It's got something ignorance. Like I said, you've got a lot of ignorance. They believe what they want to believe. They've been portrayed what they've been in by lies. Well-known tabloid Red Top newspaper. Leave the cover-ups and everything else with all these stupid government, the stupid leader of this country at the time and everything else. You know, it's they've been believe what they allowed to believe or led to believe, but also been let themselves believe. And ignorance, there's no excuse for ignorance as you get older, because then we can all make mistakes, but you can turn around later on and go, I didn't realise that, or isn't that thing? And lots of people have, and lots of people will. But there's still some stubborn idiots that don't.
Yeah.
Anything like that, it will be that exposure, and hopefully will re-educate people. Or re-educate new generations and new things. It was a difficult one. It was an emotional day anyway yesterday, just knowing that even yesterday it was a historical moment anyway. The Chelsea game, because legalised standing was brought back for the first time at Stamford Bridge. So it was a real day for it to happen yesterday. You know, it's a historical moment. Barely sit down when I'm at a football match. You know, I'm in within the game, and not to me, and I know most of the Reds are, but we all want it to be done in a way, and if it can be, yeah, you can. Why even make the option if you can all tell them and you get it when you need to, whatever. That's why it needs to be brought. But that's my opinion. I understand, but I'm never going to be able to change the right. It's a raw feeling that I just think, well, you can still watch the match sitting down. Why do you need to eat by bringing something?
For anyone who wants to watch the rest of the N show, it's on 9 p.m. ITV, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's a 4-part series, and sure you can get it on the catch up. So, Mark, thanks a million for coming on for your analysis today and for giving your personal feedback on the N show. We look forward to having you back on again soon enough to discuss Liverpool's fortunes, and we look forward to our tour in Ireland, which we're going to keep you posted on as well as the weeks go on and updates come in. So don't forget to like, subscribe for free, click the notifications bell, and we'll see you next time on the Parleo Padre podcast. Good night. God bless.